on that note, because that takes us to our next story here, there's more confusion in the DC universe.
I get it.
Because James Gunn just can't seem to get this shit straight. If he'd have just done what Script Doctor and I said in the first fucking place, there wouldn't be any goddamned confusion. So, okay, kids, here's what's going on. The Arkham series that Matt Reeves is developing is in the new DCU. Don't get that confused with Matt Reeves, the Batman, though.
Or
I'm
the
pretty
Penguin.
sure or the Penguin, because they're two completely different things, because Gunn even said that, no, the Batman is separate. So anyway, Andre, what is James Gunn doing? Why does he keep doing this shit?
I'm more curious, what the hell is Matt Reeves doing? Why is he developing the Batman outside of the DCU for his own universe, while he's developing an Arkham series for within the DCU? I mean, pick one, or ideally something.
Oh, and I have an idea why.
Why do they have competing Batman?
I'll tell you one reason possibly why, because we're going to come to find out that unless the Penguin is this huge motherfucking hit, the Batman will end the story that he was trying to tell all this time. We're going to find out, oh yeah, this is the grand story I've been telling this whole time. The Batman 2, I mean, will end that story.
Basically, the Batman Part 2 is going to round out
that's what I'm thinking.
Universe, and then he needs to transition. So he still has a job within DC. So then he's going to transition to Arkham.
That's my speculation. Yes.
The other aspect is that Max will be the home of the DC universe, and the streaming services will be the home of all the ancillary stuff, the DC blacklisted stuff, or black label stuff. All that stuff will be used to advertise and hook people from those streaming services to come over to Max if you want to see the core DCU.
Which kind of goes along with one of the rumors I was hearing earlier about the Batman possibly continuing on just HBO Max instead of being theatrical.
They should just make a Batman TV series. Gary Beekler from Nerdrotic's been saying this forever. There was a Batman TV show in the 60s with Adam West. It was hugely popular, villain of the week. Obviously, serialized television has become more sophisticated since the 60s, and you could do something that would be a crime thriller with a story of the Batman. It could go on for 10 seasons. You could bring in Robin in season 3 or 4. You could have like season-long arcs. You could have villains of the week. All this like putzing around. We're going to do you know what we're doing? We're going to do a new Batman show. What's it called? Pennyworth. Who cares?
It's called Legends of the Dark Knight, and you can do stories of any period in Batman's career and history and have fun with it, and it's very consistent.
Yes, it could be like, God, why am I spacing on this series with Woody Harrelson and it was the crime
True Detective?
Oh, the True Detective,
If they did a Batman series that was like True Detective, that was as good, that first season of True Detective, one of the best seasons of TV ever, was that.
Well, best shot. It's terribly written, but it's beautifully shot.
Well, no,
I
but
like the way it's weird.
Your point is sound though, Chris, because that was one of the first conversations I ever had with Gary back when he was just a little channel, and he had me on there with him and we're talking, and that's what we said. If you just did a show like the Batman animated series, it wouldn't cost you a goddamn thing, and it would be the biggest show on TV. But the problem is Warner Brothers won't do that. And that is because there's certain characters that they feel, like the Batman, for instance, that is too big for television, and they will not have him on television. So I don't know if they'll actually do the HBO Max thing, but we'll have to see on that, because that's why they did the Penguin. And here's the other weird thing. I don't know how they do this, but like, we're going to see Bruce Wayne in the Penguin is my understanding, but we're not going to see Batman.
I mean, it's so ridiculous. I don't care as much as like Alfred is a really good side character in the Batman films and fiction and whatever.
Right.
It's a terrible idea to do a Pennyworth. That's a 3-issue miniseries where we learn a story about Alfred Pennyworth's past that explains. That's a 3-issue arc.
For you're singing to the choir here, because I've done rants on where I'm sick and tired of Batman shows without Batman, Superman shows without Superman.
Yeah, no,
the guy responsible for them. And he does them terribly.
I got a lot of flack for just disliking Smallville. I remember trying to watch it and thinking, this is just melodramatic high school BS.
Yes.
I never cared about it. And I got a lot of flack for having that opinion back then. But are you breaking out your seasons, your 8 seasons or whatever of Smallville to kind of rewatch it? Nobody is. I promise you, No one is breaking out their Smallville box sets to rewatch that show because it's not rewatchable. It's disposable and it's set in its era. And it's yeah.
I can actually tell you an exact number of how many people that are. It's around 156,000.
I'm gonna say it does have a small little cult following still, and
you can find
I
that
watched
out
it twice. But
Michael Rosenbaum is doing a rewatch podcast with Tom Welling on it.
There you go.
And that's the only reason to watch the show again. Although I'm not watching it.
I thought I was the only one who thought Smallville didn't cut it.
No,
it was good up until like the third or fourth season, and then when they didn't let the show take its natural progression, that's when I had a problem with it. Because the problem was they moved all the action to Metropolis, yet they still call the show Smallville, and they just won't let him be Superman. It's like you've written yourself into a corner. You cannot keep going like this for the next 5-6 years. And what did they do? They kept going like this for the next 5-6 years, and that's what happened. Is the show turned to shit, just like you guys were saying.
The show was turning to crap and by the second season, when they realized we have nothing to do for have this Lana character do anything. We don't know what to do with her anymore after the first season. And every season, it's like, now she's being possessed by a witch. Now she's learning martial arts. Now she's problem too. Like, you have no idea or direction of what you're doing with these characters. And it's one of the few shows when they brought in a new character, the ratings went up. And that new character was Lois Lane. And that's the only reason that show got a bump.
Well, that was going to my point, is they should have just switched from the show Smallville and transition to Metropolis, let him be Superman, and just have it be a Superman show at that point is what it should have been. But they didn't, because they had to keep it in no tights, no flights. And that was their fucking problem.
Let me just say, there's a reason Paul is my favorite, because he also did not like Smallville.
I never loved it. I just thought it was okay.
Smallville, Chris, man.
I was just going to say, he didn't like it either.
Just goofy.
I just felt like it went to shit when it didn't let the show progress, and it just kept kind of stunting its own growth in that respect.
It was in Arrested Development for 8 seasons out of 10.
Yeah,
television is always a challenge that way. You've got to get all hands on deck. In a good TV series, the location also has to be a character, and in that case it wasn't.
Right.
Well, we're getting a little bit farther away from the main point. I guess the main question to everybody is this: how do you guys feel about this confusion now? Because that's all James Gunn has done since he's taken over, has caused nothing but confusion, and it's getting harder and harder to say that he is not playing a role in these last 4 or 5 films tanking at this point. Right? That's kind of where we're at. Aquaman is shaping up to be a bigger flop than probably The Flash at the end of the day.
Yeah, but it's got nothing to do with him.
You don't think so?
Unfortunately, he has publicly identified himself with it. That's the issue.
But you have to be a cheerleader. You got to take a bullet for the team.
Can you cheer at the same time when you told everybody you're already going to move the team next season?
Yes,
no,
absolutely.
Yeah. Owners do that all the time.
Everything is great. That's
the
what
problem is. Nerds don't buy into that shit. Well, that's the problem.
No,
he's losing his community. He's losing all of his cred.
Look at Steve Jobs. The distortion field. Everything is great. I can point to the shows that he was lifting up a product, and I could tell that he had this shit-eating grin on, and he was going, "Oh, yeah, this is gonna be really good. Nobody really fucking hate it. I gotta sell it. I'm gonna sell it." So you have no other choice.
But I don't understand how people can say Gunn has nothing to do with how Aquaman's going to play out when he killed the DCU, right? People are not going to these movies, and half the reason is because they know they're not going to matter. You even got Jason Momoa out there
They're going on an individual movie by movie basis.
I don't think that's true.
Doesn't give a shit about the DCU.
No, I think you're wrong. I think you are underestimating the audience, because granted, it's not.
I'll take it.
The majority of people don't follow this stuff that we do in the general audience, but everyone in the general audience has a friend who can tell them what's good, what isn't, what's worth paying attention to, and what isn't. I submit that the success of the first Aquaman was a fluke. I don't know exactly what caused it, but it was never going to happen
Jason
again,
Momoa's
no matter
muscles.
What. Probably. Either way, that should have been a case of, yeah, we got away with it this time, but let's not try that again. Unfortunately for everyone at DC, the inept executives at the time decided, yeah, let's do this again. And they are the ones that have made all these horrible projects that there's absolutely no customer demand for whatsoever. And the current administration is feeling the heat of that right now. So that obviously is one issue, that these movies, the audience just aren't taking to them. So that's one thing. But another thing, and this is an equally big, maybe the biggest thing, is that I think that most people are aware that this is now a dead end. It's getting rebooted. Even those that don't read the geek press have a friend that does and can tell them, yeah, coming a new Superman, no point wasting time on this. I really do believe that them prematurely announcing that they were rebooting killed this thing off right here. And of course, after doing so, James Gunn, he has tried to sell it as best as he can. And Paul, I do see where you are coming from. But
it was already hurting, definitely.
But Apple fans are more forgiving than a comic book fan base.
True.
That's what I mean. Yeah, yes, I agree. There was confusion at first. Like, a lot of people just didn't care, and the Snyderverse had already turned a good portion of the audience off, Paul. But what you had was twofold. You had the bringing back of Henry Cavill simultaneously with the announcement that no, he's not coming back, regardless of what we just dick-teased you with. And that pissed a lot of people off. Yeah. And then you add in what Andre just said, is over the last few months, especially since Flash, because I still stand by it, had you released Flash, like Script said, right away in March, right after you dropped those fucking Super Bowl trailers, and people that I taught, like my buddies that aren't into this stuff, were messaging me going, oh my God, Michael Keaton is back as Batman. Had they released that movie then, it would have been probably $500, $600, $700, $800 million easy. But the problem was they waited too long. You had all this buildup with Henry Cavill and Black Adam that didn't perform well. And if you look at the box office, that's where things took a dive, really. I mean, they already were bad. Like, you're correct, because they weren't doing well. Black Adam didn't do well. But what it did do is right now, when we go back and look at it, of the last like half dozen DC movies, it's going to be the one that played the best. Exactly my point. So at that point, things were still at least salvageable. And I think it all just kind of went south from there.
I agree. And also, you know what Black Adam didn't do? It didn't poison any well. All of the later movies, they have done that. They've poisoned the well.
And James Gunn can't shut the fuck up. That's the other problem. He shouldn't even be talking about this stuff.
He honestly would have been, because I see why he wants to be like honest and speak with the fans and everything, but he would have been better off in retrospect just having been quiet, because he has tried to give a little bit information, but without giving too much. So it's been a little bit cryptic, and in that crypticity has come confusion, which is the last thing that fans need right now. So then, honestly, it would have been better just to say nothing, let time run its course, than to try to create excitement and instead just create confusion, because the fan base of the DC is right now, they are so burned out, they are so bummed out. Marvel is no longer upholding the entire superhero genre as they once did, because they suck now too. It's going to make it all the more difficult for James Gunn to reboot this and create some level of excitement when every last news we get is bad news.
Well, and that's where I don't understand this whole idea. And I know part of the reason why they did it from what I heard, but at this point, it's just made shit worse. They should be gearing up right now to make this announcement the weekend after Aquaman opened. We should not even know about this yet. It should have just been rumors for the last year.
It should have been made in like February, so it was far enough away from Aquaman's potential box office failure to not look like they're admitting failure.
That too.
That's the other part too.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe and join us.